I'm sorry.
The title alone is a dare. Something very bad is going to happen. It's not a question, not a mystery. It's a promise.
I'm sorry.
And in the very first episode, that promise felt real. There's a man who walks into a room,
I'm sorry.
looks at you and says, sorry, over and over.
I'm so sorry.
And you don't know why, but it fills you with dread. There's a ritual involving a severed toe. There's a curse with rules so specific, so ancient feeling,
To love.
that you believe them. The show had DNA of something that could genuinely unsettle you. Haley Boston, the mind behind Brand New Cherry Flavor,
I think one of us is gonna have to die now.
backed by the Duffer Brothers. That combination had no right to feel safe. And for most of its run, it didn't. But here's the thing about promises. The more specific they are, the more obvious it is when they get broken.
To you now to protect the soul in front of you.
Somewhere in the final hour of this show, something shifts. Not dramatically, not in a way you can immediately name. It's more like the temperature just changes. You're watching the same show, same actors, same music, same color palette, but the air feels off. And by the last frame, Rachel driving away smiling, you're sitting there thinking, wait, was that it? Go back to episode 1.
Hey, you were the one.
Should we, get married or something?
The curse is laid out clearly. It's a cosmic law, not a preference. You find your soulmate or you die. Not metaphorically, physically, cosmically. There's no wiggle room. The show earns this. It repeats it. It builds an entire mythology around the weight of it.
The horror genre is hard to sustain, especially in TV. You know, once you reveal the monster, it's not scary anymore.
This is a flat circle kind of rule. Objective, indifferent, inhuman. Now, go to the finale.
Are you sure he's the one?
For 7 episodes, the rule is simple. You find your soulmate or you die. It's not emotional. It's not negotiable. It just is. And near the end, that rule starts bending. Nicky doesn't believe in Rachel. He doesn't marry her, so the consequences start. His family begins to die. And for a moment, it feels like the show is actually going to follow through. Rachel is fine. The logic still holds.
It's frustrating to me when TV asks a bunch of questions and doesn't answer them until the end, so I also wanted to give the audience some answers throughout.
And then, after the deadline, they force it. He changes his mind. They push the marriage anyway, even when she doesn't want it. And then suddenly, the rule applies to her.
I am trying to subvert what the bad thing is and keep you guessing.
She just dies. Not because the system held, but because the story needed it to. And right there, you feel it. The rules didn't evolve. They moved. The rule changes, quietly.
That is how Rachel feels, and that's a feeling I think a lot of people can relate to. And you have this just kind of foreboding feeling that something bad's gonna happen.
What was something fixed starts to feel like something you can influence. And that's a very different kind of story. It didn't evolve. They quietly swapped it out. A story about terrifying fixed truth becomes something else, something softer. That's not a twist. That's a genre change.
We always talked about the show in terms of, having that sort of shift at the midpoint.
And that shift isn't abstract. You can feel it. Because up until that point, you hate him. Nicky is weak. He's selfish.
We are still getting married, right?
He ruins everything. And the show knows it. It builds towards consequences, real ones. You think, finally, they're going to let this land. And then, they just don't. He survives. They write in just enough to keep him in the game. So now, it's not consequences. It's a loophole. And then it gets worse. They force the ending. They push her back into it. She dies, and now you're really pissed. Not because it's bad, but because it actually hit. It felt final. It felt like it meant something. That's the ending that you actually remember.
It's not about the scares or the startles. It's about some kind of deep, frightening, challenging idea that will hold on to you a week later.
And then they just undo it. No setup, no reason. They just bring her back. So now it's not tragic. It's not honest. It's just nothing. And he still walks away. Think about what Rachel was for 7 episodes. She wasn't a chosen one. She wasn't special. She was a person being dragged by forces she didn't ask for, towards a fate she definitely didn't deserve. That's a specific kind of horror.
And takes us back to reality.
The kind that works because it mirrors something real. That feeling we all have when the universe doesn't care about our intentions. You can do everything right, and in the end, you can still be destroyed. That idea is terrifying, and the show knew it. There's a scene mid-series where Rachel realizes the witness wasn't evil, just trapped, just old, and just tired. It was one of the best moments in the show because it suggested the ending might genuinely be tragic. Not dark for the sake of dark. Dark because that's where the logic leads. Then the finale resurrects her as the new witness. Not because she earned it, not because the mythology demanded it, but because she's still alive at the end. Camilla Morone, available, franchise ready. So now the logic shifts. That same world, but it starts making different decisions. And you feel it. This isn't just the first time. Think about True Detective Season 1. That show also lived in dread. It also built a mythology that felt cosmically indifferent.
Do you wonder ever you're a bad man?
World needs bad men. We keep the other bad men from the door.
It also had a character who didn't believe the world rewarded good intentions. But HBO let it end dark. Not nihilistically, just honestly. Russ Cole looks up at the stars and admits the light is winning. But the thing is, you don't quite believe him, and neither does he. And that ambiguity is the entire point. Now think about how many shows since then have started the same way and just ended differently. The dread opens the door.
Clytemnestra is driven by revenge.
I will say, I was kind of surprised by the time the film came out and people were telling me that the clucking was effective, because while we were shooting this, I just kept thinking like, this is not gonna fucking work. This is so silly.
But something comes in behind it and tidies it up. The supernatural gets explained. The monster turns out to be grief. The resurrection happens. And you leave fine. Not shaken, not unsettled, just fine.
But there's like a silver lining.
There's a structural reality to how content gets made now. Streaming platforms don't measure critical success the same way. They measure completion rates. They measure re-engagement. They measure whether you hit play on the next thing. A show that leaves you genuinely disturbed might not make you want to do that. A show that promises darkness but delivers catharsis? That does. Nobody's sitting in a room saying, let's ruin the show. It's a lot more subtle than that. It's 1,000 small decisions made under 1,000 small pressures, each one individually defensible. And by the end of the show, it still looks the same. It just doesn't feel like it anymore.
It's hard to do without sounding egotistical or vain, but I'm very proud of the work I've put in to be a more grounded, authentic actor.
The sorry man becomes a traumatized father because it's easier to understand, easier to accept, easier to move on from. Here's what I keep coming back to. We chose this show because of the title. Something very bad is going to happen. We wanted that. We wanted the dread. We asked for it. But when it didn't, we still finished it, still sat through the credits, still moved on. Maybe we even recommended it. And I wonder what that says, not about the show, not about Netflix, but what we actually want from this. Do we want to be genuinely disturbed? Or do we just want the feeling of it, with the guarantee that it ends okay? Because if it's the second one, then maybe nothing went wrong here. Maybe it went exactly how it was supposed to. So maybe the part that changed wasn't the show at all.